you should always wear safety glasses. Well, this is our second video of a series of 4 videos showing installation of the proper installation of federal brace countertop brackets. And again, we're here with Trip Lipinski from Lewis & Sons. The previous video we showed the island installation, the island bar, and what we're going with here is our floating bar installation.
Floating bar, and also want to say that it's important. We're using the same cabinet. It has the same 3/4 backer, just like we did on the previous ones, on the previous video, because you have to have the 3/4 backer to be able to support the bracket without it being able to compromise the integrity of the cabinet.
The island bar, the floating bar this is a different piece of granite. This has a 1-inch overhang all the way around.
All the way around. This is how it would be if in your kitchen or wet bar or whatever. This is how the granite would be on this cabinet right here, and we're going to show you to install the floating bracket and how the granite sits on top of that, so you get the look of the bracket with the raised bar aspect with nothing obstructing your view between the top piece of granite and the bottom piece of granite.
This will be a beautiful installation, very exotic. You guys will love it.
On this particular bracket here, you don't want to come out close to the corner again, because the granite is only going to overhang the same distance that the granite on the cabinet is. So to give it a more open look, you always want to bring these in further, probably about a foot or something like that, just depending on where, what your desired distance is. You just want the granite to look like it's floating over the sides as well as floating across the top. That's why you don't want to put the bracket next to the corner right there. The bracket height can be wherever you want it to be. It can actually touch the granite if you want it to. It can't be forcing on the granite, but it can actually touch the granite. That gives you, with this bracket, that determines how high the space is going to be between the top of the countertop and the bottom of the bar top. This particular bracket, if you go all the way up to the granite, gives you a 6.5-inch distance between the top piece of the granite and the bottom of the
and then you're going to have an inch on top of that, so you're going to be at
right, so
7.5.
And that would determine too, with your bar stools, how high you want to be up off the floor. Standard bar height is around 42 inches, which at this height right there, we're at 43 inches. So you might want to, and everybody's different. Taller people usually like countertops up higher. Shorter people like countertops down lower. So that's all a personal preference as to what you want. But a standard is about 42 inches off the floor for the bottom of the granite.
Okay, so for this installation, we have 3 Valencia brackets.
We have 3 Valencia brackets.
So we're going to come off.
We're going to come off probably around a foot.
About a foot this way?
Right.
Okay.
And then we're going to go 30 inches in between, set the next bracket 30 inches in between, or somewhere within the 30-inch spacing, because the brackets, you have to be no more than 30 inches of spacing between the center strut of the bracket, the gusset of the bracket.
Now this, we went ahead and installed the granite on the cabinet, but you can install this without.
You could do either way. We did it this way first, just to show you the granite with the bracket, like how it can touch the granite. It can be done either way. These brackets can be installed first, then the granite can be put on. We just put the granite on ahead of time, just to show the look that you were going to have. That's basically the only reason. You can go either way.
Very good.
All right, so what we're going to do...
It's going to be a nice installation. I'm excited about seeing this.
What we're going to do now is we're going to lay it off and install the brackets. So what you want to do is you want to figure basically the total distance of the cabinet, which is, this is 330-inch, so that's 90 inches. So 45 inches would basically be the center, which would be right here. So depending on where you want the bar top, we're going to go ahead and put the bracket all the way up underneath the granite, just on this application. And like I said, it can go down if you want it to, depending on how high you want the thing to be. So what we're going to do is figure the dead center. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here from my center mark. That gives me my outside edges of the bracket. That would be there and there. I'm flushing the black bracket up with the countertop. That's pretty much going to square it up. All right, we're back at the same place again like we were before. The center mark. Then I'm going to go do the same thing again, do the 2 inches on each side. And marking the pilot holes. Now, just like on the previous brackets, you want to take a 1/8 bit. And again, making sure that the drill bit's only going to be as thick as the product itself, which I have already set this up. This is right less than 1.5 inches. So then you go back to your pilot holes.
I would question this also. You don't use the level, you're just using the granite because the granite is...
The granite's level. You could level it, but if you do level it and something's out of level, then it's going to, if it follows the line of the granite, it's going to look symmetrical.
I understand.
If you're going to level it and it ends up that's like an 1/8 low or that kind of thing because the floor's out of level or because something's out of level in the house.
So you just blame it on the floor guy?
You blame it on if the cabinets are already in place, chances are they're not perfectly level or perfectly square. I mean, that's just the way it is. So you usually work with it like that. You can put a level on this. I'm sure it's...
Well, if Terry made it, it sure is square. I'm sure of that.
It's not really the granite. It's all what it's sitting on, and we're in an old warehouse, so I'm not quite sure whether this floor is level or not.
It's probably not.
All right. Once again, we're going to use the 1.5 inch, 1/4 inch hex head lag bolts, just like we used on the other one, because we're going back into the 1.5 inch surface, and the Federal brace, which is always a 1/4 inch solid stainless steel.
A brute.
It is a brute. I'm going to let you hold that. We've laid it off as to where we want our bracket. We're going to come in here and we're putting it up under the granite, and we're going to set 1 screw in it right now to temporarily hold the bracket in place. So that's what we've done. Let's go do it on another one to show. Just leave that. You can snug this up. There. And that holds the bracket in place.
Okay.
Alrighty. And come over here and let's do the third one. Now that you have the bracket in place and now that it's level, you've made sure that it's level, which it is, then you can tighten this one. Snug. That's going to keep the bracket from being able to move when you're putting your pilot holes in. Then you're going to come back here, you're going to do pilot holes, then you're going to come back and put your screws in. And then we're going to snug it up with the wrench. If you over tighten them, it's going to want to strip the wood out. You want to use something that's going to stay away from the stainless where you're not jammed up against it or something like that. That's why I've got this extension bit on the ratchet. Keep everything away. If this was a permanent countertop, what you would have done is you would have put silicone caulk on the tops of the brackets. After that was set and you had everything lined up in place, and you would caulk the perimeter of the 1/4 inch piece of steel right there. You would caulk all the way around it with silicone caulk, and you would do all 3 of them. Let it set for 24 hours. You come back, this piece of granite can't go anywhere. And this is how it looks, and you can see the way it does look with the openness. We did it with just 3 brackets to show you in the video. You could do it with as many brackets as you wanted to. That's just the minimum of brackets it would take to hold this. If you wanted to do it where you have more brackets, you could use more brackets. If you wanted to do it, like I said, where this was closer to the countertop, you could lower these brackets down.
Looks awesome. All right. Well,
That's
thanks
it.
to Terry's Tile and Stone for bringing in the beautiful granite. Thanks, Trip Lipinski from Lewis & Sons.
Not a problem.
This is our Valencia, New Valencia designs from Federal Brace. Thanks for taking the time to look at this video. We have more videos after this. Thanks a lot. www.federalbrace.com.
That's it.
Thank you.